Audio Geek, and I am back yet again with another cool audio review for you guys. So I'm very excited about this one. It's an upgrade of a legendary Planar in-ear monitor, and it's from Hidizs. It's the new MP145 Pro, guys. Cool thing about this review is that I also have an original MP145, so I will be able to review both these at the same time. It's not I bought this 2 years ago and I've listened to it and I've put it away, and this is going to be a whole new experience. I've never listened to an original MP145, and I'm going to take the Pro and I'm going to measure these two up, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion if the MP145 is still worth it now that the 145 Pro is out, and the differences between the two. I think this is going to make one awesome review. Dealing with Hidizs, I mean, I've got a lot of Hidizs products. I've got some there, I've got some stacked away. I love Hidizs. You know, they do everything from in-ear monitors right through to little DAC amps. They've got their own DAP range. They've got the new AP80 Pro out. Very cool DAP. When you deal with Hidizs, I've never had any problems like you get with other companies, like paint chipping and all that stuff. You know you're getting a quality product, or at least I know I'm getting a quality product. Another cool thing about especially the MP145, yeah, you get this, you just get a nice focus here. As you guys can see, that is a whale. And with the MP145 project, even the original one, Hidizs has teamed up with the WDC. Now, WDC, these guys are the Marine Animal Rescue and Response Expansion. It's a project. These guys help whales, and whenever a company supports animals is very close to my heart. I believe we must speak for those who can't speak for themselves, and we must protect those who can't protect themselves. So this is a project that's close to my heart now, and I love Hidizs for it. So if you do join, it's out on Kickstarter now, the MP145 Pro. I'm going to put the link down in the description. I'm also going to put the link to the WDC project, so that you guys can go check it there if you're interested. You can see what they're doing with the whales and how far they are with their projects and stuff like that. So yeah, Hidizs products always is very quick to come to South Africa. This one was like 4 days and it reached me, so not a problem with damaged parcels and all sorts of stuff like that. I see the boxes is still fine. This is just a little part here that's up, but that's not from shipping, that's from the cellophane that was wrapped a bit too tightly on this box. I can't wait to get into the unboxing, guys, and show you what's inside. Dealing with Hidizs staff has always been a pleasure. They've got very friendly and helpful staff. They're very responsive. Also, I've heard with their after-sales service is very good. So I think without further ado, let's get into unboxing the MP145 Pro and the original MP145, and let's see what comes out here, guys. Okay, so if we get into the packaging quickly while we're unboxing, as you can see, the MP145 is quite a bigger box than the original MP145. So this actually looks very premium. I don't know if it's just because it's bigger, but let's see how we can open this thing. It's just a nice black box on top of the two. I don't want to say too much about the build. I'm going to get into that with the build quality. You've got the two monitors here up front. You've got some rep details here for the UK. You've got the Hidizs logo. Here we've got our specs. It's pretty standard. Okay, now this is what greets you when you lift the lid. It's so beautiful. I just can't wait for the look and build to tell you guys about these awesome little monitors that's in here. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs of different ear tips, guys. Check this. I think this is very, very good value for money, and this is very nice from Hidizs to give you such a big choice with tips. I'll get into what they are all for when we get into the look and build. Oh boy, this is beautiful. This is beautiful, guys. I have to say, this is one of the most beautiful headphone in-ear monitor cases I have seen so far, and I mean I have lots of them. This is really, really nice, and it when it clicks up, it doesn't just open and just goes floppy like that. It's like jewelry, you know. You open it up, it's a bit difficult. So this is a real good quality box, guys. What's in here? Inside the box, hey, look what we got. We've got tuning nozzles. That takes it up to another level, because now you can play with the sound. And then we've got our cable. This looks like a cool quality cable, and thankfully it's not thin and flimsy. This feels like a real premium cable. And what we have here is a separate connector. So what I'm seeing here is 4.4 balance and 3.5 millimeter in the cable. This is so cool. The bottom of your box here, you get the normal little cards that says you've got this product now, and your little quality control thingamajig. Yeah, so that's it for the unboxing of the MP145 Pro. Let's check out what's in the box with this original MP145. Just get this lid back on. Okay, there's also a logo here in front, and on the back you've got your specs and just some more logos. This is a pretty cool little box. Oh, this is nice. The Hidizs logo and stuff, it's in there. Oh boy, I love this color. So you are greeted by your two in-ear monitors on the top side. Then you've got a little box over here. We take this box out. I think this is going to be our cable, and let's just check that out. Oh no, this is your carrying pouch. So for this one, you don't get a case like with the MP145 Pro. You guys must take note now. You get one of these nice leather ones. Actually, my daily carry that I carry around with me, I prefer these type of pouches because they're not so big and bulky like those flip open cases. Then we also have our little quality control and all those cards. That's it for that box. Inside this case is a cable. And we've got a 4.4 balanced here. Pretty much looks like the same cable, except that one is 3.5 and 4.4 balanced. So Hidizs actually did improve when they call that one the Pro on the stuff that you are getting. This is a nice little holder with some more tuning nozzles, which can also help us to play around. I'm going to test these out thoroughly. Then when we lift the other side up, we have got 3 pairs of tuning nozzle ear tips. Remember, the one MP145 has 4 pairs, so I can't wait to get into those and see what different ones is in there. So guys, that's it for the unboxing. I'm pretty stoked to get into the look and build and the actual sound of these things. So let's hop on over. So if we check out the look and build, guys, these are really big and bulky metal type shells. I love it, but here's the thing, they're not heavy. I think you won't be able to keep these in your ears if they were heavy. The size that this is, I'm not worried about the fit on these. I don't know about you guys with the small ears, but I've got very big ears and very big ear canals, so these are going to fit me very well. I'll actually get into the fit and when I'm doing the sound and tell you guys how they fit it. But man, this is really premium stuff. They've got the screw-on nozzles which you can just screw off, and what I like about that, it's metal, it's not plastic. I hate anything plastic. I love metal way more than plastic and resin and stuff like that. About the design, as you guys can see, it's a whale tail. So this is again where the whales come in. This is in the form of a whale's tail, and these little contours here, just see if we could get a focus. I always struggle with lighting and focus. They've got some contours here on the side which looks like the underbelly of a whale. It looks to me like that. I'll have to check the internet what the other guys are saying, but to me it looks like that. Really premium shells, these guys. I love the look. It's a nice golden color. You also get them in other colors. I think there's a silver and these MP145s, which I'm going to get to after this, they're also a very nice color. But I went for the gold. I do not have a lot of gold IEMs, so I went for this one, and I just think it gives it a really nice premium look. So what's next? The cable. As you guys know, I'm a big cable guy. We've got metal connectors on the cable, and as I said, we can just switch. If we go 4.4 balance, that's in, and 3.5 millimeter single-ended, then we just take it off. The feel of the cable, it is a plasticky compound that's on top of the wires, but as you can see, it's a nice braided one. It's nice and thick, and it feels soft. So I actually want to check how this coils. You guys know I like it when a cable coils around your hand. Then you know it's not a very hard cable. Yeah, as you can see, this one it's very flexible. It's interesting to see most IEM cables here with me in South Africa. They are good for about a month or two, and then they start turning hard. So I'm actually down the line. I'm very intrigued to see how these are going to keep up with the African climate. I raved about this one in the unboxing, guys. I really love this case. I have to say this is one of my favorite cases now. Just everything. It's like a jewelry box. It flips open, and it makes a big click sound, and then it stays open like that. Here's a little place where you can put your tips, or if you want, a little DAC amp maybe can go in here, and it's not very big, so you can actually carry this around, or if you prefer to just keep it on your desktop. Man, this looks very premium. The color is also a weird color. It's like between green and blue. Man, I really Hidizs, well done on this, eh? I really love this. The tuning nozzles, like I said, they're metal. Really love them. You can also distinguish them by their colors. There's red ones here, and I can see the silver ones, and I think the other ones that's on top is gold ones. So not only do you have the option of changing the sound to your preference with ear tips, you also get to play around with these. So what you in actual fact I have here is, I'm gonna say you can easily have three different in-ear monitors in one, three different sound signatures in one, which is actually huge value for money, and gives you a lot of things to play with. Me personally, I don't like digital equalizers. I see it as non-audiophile. I know I'm going to get crucified by this, but I'll rather change it like this, manually. But things you can do with your hands to change the sound. I rather equalize the sound that way, if I'm being honest now. So the ear tips, what you get is you get the Hidizs Animals, and then I see There's bass ear tips, there's vocal ear tips, and then it's also balanced ear tips. So you can choose. If you want a bit of a balanced sound, you go for these. If you're listening to audio acoustic guitar and male and female vocals, you can choose those tips. I really like the anime tips. I've had them before, and they are really nice. So I think we are through this. Let's just check out now the MP145 and the build quality on that. I'm actually so glad that Hidizs sent me the OG so that I can compare for you guys. Oh man, this is beautiful. Okay, so basically they are the same. So it doesn't look, I don't know what's going on inside, but basically on the outside it's the same, and that's not a bad thing for both, because the original is the same build quality. I notice now, and man, I love this color. This is a, you can see it's a metal color. It's almost a kind of a blue. Damn, this is beautiful. Also the metal screw-on nozzles, same as the MP145 Pro. The ear tips are also the same, just with this set you get a bonus set of the anime tips, and guys, those are seriously really cool tips. So that's an added bonus with the MP145. Yes, it's the normal silicone ear tips, but obviously the whole diameters is going to differ, because you get your vocal ones, your balanced ones, and your bass ones. The cable, just see where I put it now. Here it is. If I take the two cables and I hold them next to each other, yeah, it's not the same cable. It looks the same, but the new one actually looks a bit thicker. So I think I'm going to be preferring this new cable, because I like thick cables, as you guys know. The OG also has this nonsense, what you call it, Velcro strips on. I usually just throw that away. So yeah, the nozzles also look the same, guys. So yeah, that's it for the look and build. We can. And I am back with my sound impressions, guys, and I just want to show you guys, get out from behind my mic here and show you guys I've got my little whale thingy on. So I am supporting the whales. Whoever is killing the whales, please stop. Guys, this is a very good cause, and thank you once again to Hidizs for you know, supporting such great causes. Also, just before I get into the sound, I just want to say something about the fit. Because I have the MP145 and I have the MP145 Pro, I got the chance to fit them both, and the problem with fitment is the original MP145 cable. I've got it hooked up here to the MP145 Pro. This is the old cable of the cable of the MP145, and I've hooked it up to the Pro in-ear monitor. So if I fit them, you would immediately see what happens here. Now this part here on top starts sliding down like that. You can immediately see it start doing it, and then it dips out of your ear. So with the new cable, let me just get it out here. I've got the new cable now hooked up to the old MP145. If you put this in your ear, you will see an immediate difference. You will notice an immediate difference. It doesn't fall out of your ear. So I just don't know how they will fit in people with smaller ears, guys. But for me, I've got big ears. The original cable, that is the problem here. I actually saw it mentioned in a Facebook group where people were talking about the fit and saying no, don't buy this. The original, they don't fit well. Get the cable of the MP145 Pro. I hope actually that Hidizs will sell this cable loose for MP145 owners that want to upgrade their cable, because that is a very good cable, guys. Okay, but without further ado, I have to get into the sound here. Let's just get my notes up here so that I can see what's going on here. The original MP145, it's got a U-shape signature to me. It's very warm. It's a very immersive sound. It's bass forward, and there's a touch of mid bass thickness in there that only a Planar driver, a different driver doesn't sound like that. Only a Planar driver for me can produce that little bit of mid bass thickness without sounding boomy, and it gives it a very lush type of sound, you know, that bass response. The vocals on the MP145, they sit nice and forward. The treble does have sparkle, and the whole sound profile, it's very alive and very holographic. It's musically, yeah, I will say it's musical, but it's also forgiving. I found it to be a bit forgiving on bad recordings. And one thing for me about the original MP145 is soundstage. That thing has a huge soundstage, guys. At that price point, if I have a look at the MP145 Pro, which is now supposed to be the refined evolution of the original, it keeps the Planar speed. The Planar speed is there. It scales, but it shifts the presentation from warm, a lot more balanced and a lot more neutral. If you can think less overall warmth, but with much tighter note control. There's a lot more control, and there's a bit more energy and brightness to the sound, definitely. Even though the bass is less, it still feels to me a lot more controlled and structured, which is not a bad thing per se, unless you're a bass head and you just want huge amounts of bass. Then the MP145, the original, is going to be much better for you. The Pro feels like the original, but just grown up a bit. If I can give you another example of what these two is almost like, if you're familiar with the LG audiophile range phones, the V series. I've got the V20, the V30, the V40, and I'm wanting to get the V50 now. I'm just still pondering it. The original was tuned by Bang Olufsen, and it's got this raw sound. I have to say the V30 and the V40, it's a lot more refined, and there's easy saber DAC inside there, and the one merit being tuned and the other being out-tuned, but I still like the sound of the original the most. So do not think at all that because the MP145 Pro is supposed to be the the successor of the MP145, that it is a lot better. It is not. With the 3 tuning nozzles, you're also getting like 3 IEMs in one. So what do you review it as? Do you review it as a bass in your monitor when you've got the bass nozzles on? Do you review it as a for treble heads if you've got the high note nozzles on? Or do you review it as an audiophile IEM if you've got the balanced nozzles on? So it's quite difficult to say from that point of view. I have to say, if I give my preference, which I use mostly on both, on the MP145, the original, I used the bass tips and the red bass nozzles. On the MP145 Pro, I used I used the balance tips the most with the bass nozzles. For some reason that just worked for me. If we do get into the low end, this is where both of these planners shine, but slightly different ways. The original, delivers powerful, punchy bass with excellent. There's excellent sub-X extension. There's a very thick. I mentioned it earlier. There's a very thick mid bass response there. You get that deep resonant rumble, especially on electronic dance music, and you get a very satisfying slam on the kick drums. Those plucks on the bass guitar, they sound very thick, and also it's fast. Anyone in the know knows that planners are fast, so it's a very fast bass, but the decay is very clean, and there's really no bloatiness. I see I wrote bloatiness here. The sound is not bloated at all, the bass. And there is a bit of that mid bass that bleeds into the lower mids, especially on busier tracks. But still, it feels very authoritative and fun. And I think that's exactly what you want from a big Planar driver. Now the Pro takes that bass up a notch on paper. In real life, well, what do you prefer? Do you prefer warmer bass, or do you prefer less bass but more tight and controlled? It's all down to what you want. The MP145 Pro, the sub bass to me did not sound deeper. It did sound textured, more textured though. There was a bit more layering in the bass on the MP145 Pro, especially on the sub bass. The mid bass felt a bit more prominent and structured. There was definitely tighter control. The attacks were quicker. Yeah, there was less bleed into the mid bass, like the original, into the lower mids, like the original has. It did not sound sluggish at once, not on rock music with big rock bass, not on EDM music with big electronic dance music bass, especially with that red nozzle, man. It gets immersive depth. With the silver one, there's a silver nozzle, there's a lot less bass, but it's cleaner and it's more precise. If you love the authority of the MP145, the Pro, I think it will do it a bit better in your books. If we check out the mids here, you will also see in this sound impression, I'm just thinking of going a bit more a different way. I've got the songs that I used for reference here, and there are a lot, but I think I'm not going to get into the songs because it's going to take a lot of time mentioning a song. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rather try and keep this a bit more technical for you guys, and try and describe the sound more, rather than just saying like I did previously, I listened to this song and it sounded like this on this song. I'd rather try and give a bit more technical and a bit more broader spectrum explanation. The MP145, the mids on the original, it's lush. It was very realistic, slightly warm, thanks to that mid bass bleed. That mid bass that's bleeding into the lower mids. It makes it a bit more warm sounding, the mids. Especially guitars, pianos, and all the acoustic type instruments. They have a very, very good body and texture to the sound. There's a gentle dip there that keeps things smooth and fatigue free, but it never feels recessed. Vocals is the strong point for me. On the original, they sit nice and forward, and you are very capable of connecting emotionally to the music, and that you can only get if you've got a bit of a boost in the mids. The MP145 Pro, on the other hand, it makes the mids more vivid and more energetic. They're less warm though. And I can also, I think it's because the bass is more controlled, so there's less bleed, so the mids stand out more. The instruments, they sound lifelike, man, very vibrant. There's also, I don't want to use the word breathiness, but you can even, it's so clear, you can pick up the nuances in people's breathing if you listen carefully with the MP145 Pro. I have to say, the Pro avoids that laid back feeling that the MP145 have. The MP145 has a very laid back type of a signature, which you get with warm. This one, not so much, guys. If you pop on that rose gold nozzle, there's a bit of natural warmth that comes through, but I can tell you now, neither set has that hollow, or you know, that planar, I call it planar issues. You know, there's nothing of that in both of these models. The Pro just still feels a bit more refined in the mids, and also a bit more engaging to me, especially for genres we just got vocals, jazz, rock. It's a bit more engaging to me. So if those are your genres, then MP145 Pro ticks a +1 there for you. If we have a look at the treble, both has a very clean and crisp treble, and a bit of extended planar sparkle, if I can call it that. But again, the Pro refines it. The original, the highs are very airy on the original. Look, they say it's extended out to 40 kilohertz, or whether it's true or not, I mean, I can't hear it, you can't hear it. We can just maybe feel it or experience it, as they say in the audiophile world. In the original, there's a bit of there's a lower treble peak, and it gives it a bit of a bite, and a bit energy. But it stays controlled though, and it's not sibilant. Even for long sessions of listening, there's no fatigue there. Percussions, those cymbals you press with your feet, they're very snappy, very revealing. The Pro pushes that treble extension further. It's more energy, there's more sparkle, it's crisp, it's airy. Yeah, man, I can call it high resolution, and it's without crossing that border into fatigue. I think it's the improved driver that give it those cleaner, faster transients. Definitely must be the driver. You hear finer micro details in the background. Like you know, these fine reverbs that you get, those reverb tails that you get, subtle overtones, those type of things. Especially if you fit the silver nozzle onto the MP145 Pro, I think it handles sibilance better overall. Never sounds grainy. You know, some planners have that metallic sheen. You know, it's got that metallic sheen on top with the highs, and there's nothing of that here with both these models. the MP145 is great for classical music, guys. Heavy metal music, guys. I had a blast. I listened to the. I said I'm not going to mention songs, but I have to mention this. I listened to the whole concert. Rammstein live, Volkerball. Man, that's one of the best concerts ever. And I listened to the whole concert, and I have to say these are very, very good for metal, guys. Yeah, I think if we get into the technicalities here, guys, I want to start with the resolution and the detail retrieval. And before I start with the technicalities, I want you guys to know that both of these units are powerhouses with technicalities. If we check the resolution and detail retrieval here, like I said, they're both very strong, but for me, and I see here in my notes, I wrote the Pro edges it out for me. The micro details, you know, those tiny nuanced stuff you hear in the background, it's those faint brush strokes on the cymbals, you know, those subtle string notes. The MP145 retrieves this very well, and it's impressive for its price point. Up until today, it's still impressive for its price point, and it makes complex tracks feel very layered and alive, you know. The Pro takes it further though. Those micro details are even sharper and more effortless, especially if you go into the upper registers of the audio spectrum. The macro details, I'm going to have to say, the overall instrument texture and the shifts in tonal in the tones it's excellent on both of them. The original gives you that big bold presentation, you know, where everything feels full-bodied, and it's got to do with that soundstage. I'm getting to that. And the Pro just adds a bit of contrast, you know, and a bit of clarity. It's like when you take a picture with your phone and you just do those filters and you just enhance everything a bit. You know, that's the most honest way I think I can describe this with the Pro. It just adds that bit more. So the macro details, you know, it pops up, but without overwhelming the micro stuff. The micro stuff is there in its own space and time, and the macro stuff is here, so this doesn't overshadow this at all. The resolving capability of both these units overall, I would have to say they separate and they define, you know, every element in a very dense mix. You can have a very complicated mix, and they will take out everything in that mix and show you this is this, this is this, this is this. So the Pro feels to me like it has a bit more resolving power. The notes are more distinct, the decays are cleaner. Nothing sounds smeared at all. Both of them are planar fast. That's one thing you got to give to Planars. They're very fast. The Pro just does it with less strain for me. If I move on to the imaging and you know the spatial technicalities, this is where these Planars really impress me. You know, that huge Planar soundstage, I talked about it in the beginning. If you ever owned a pair of Magna Planar, we call it Maggies in the audiophile world, it's those big rectangular speakers that's just this thin and it looks like a board of wood standing up. If you've ever heard those, then you've always heard this wall of sound coming at you. Now, that is the same thing that happens when you've got both of these earphones on. I have to say the Pro does this better, and it's a very, very funny story about how I discovered this. I didn't discover this with music, I discovered this with watching TikTok videos. So what happens is these in-ear monitors disappear. You forget you have them on and you think, oh fuck, is my phone's volume on? So that's what happened to me. The whole time I was thinking I was listening to my phone, and I was not listening to my phone. I was actually listening to these in-ear monitors. So they changed the sound that you think this sound is coming from. It's like the sound is coming from outside. It's not these two little things playing inside your ears. if I have to get back to the whales, it's like a whale taking its tail and just splashing a whole wave of water. So that's how you experience this sound. It's just a wall of sound, man. The Pro keeps that scale, but it makes it more defined, but more realistic. Still enormous. So the MP145, the original, has got a bigger soundstage for me. The Pro also has a big soundstage, a little bit smaller, but a bit more refined, a bit more realistic. Feels a bit more natural. Yeah, if you look at the imaging, you can precisely place every instrument in the mix. If you close your eyes, you can immediately place the singer there, the drummer there, you can immediately place the keyboard player there, in 3D space. Both are excellent. The original is very good, but the Pro is even more stable and accurate. And I think it's due to the fact that it's got tighter driver control. Also, for me, the Pro is much easier to drive than the original. The original requires a bit more amplifier power. So I also think if you do give both of them a bit of power, there's more control with the Pro because it requires less power. The layering and separation, that's all about how cleanly the elements, sit in front to back layers without overlapping each other. The original handles that very good for the price. There's great front to back depth, and the instrument separation is out of this world. The Pro takes that further. It improves on that. Layering feels mind-blowing. I wrote here mind-blowing. There's superior separation, even in crowded mixes where there's a lot going on in a mix. Both create that out-of-head illusion, like I just told you now with my phone. Yeah, man, they do it beautifully, and I think that's thanks to proper phasing. The Pro just feel a bit more precise, a bit more holographic overall. One of my favorite is transients. You get that in classical music a lot. It's how fast the driver can move forward, stop, move back, stop. That's also where you get a lot of fake bass. If you've got a dynamic driver and you don't have enough power on it, what happens is it overextends. It creates what I call fake bass. Some people like it, some people's ears like it. It's just not accurate. Sometimes it's good bass, but it's not accurate. The original is very articulate. It's a very responsive, man. Those kick drums, they snap. The strings, they sound very precise. It's like that player is picking those strings with precision, and I think the upgraded diaphragm gives the Pro a bit of an upper hand where transient response is concerned. It feels a bit more tighter, a bit more energetic. There's fast transients on both, but the Pro just have that little bit of extra snap for me. Yeah, and I think that's top tier Planar, man. The dynamics. So if we look at the contrast, between the quiet and the loud sounds, that slam, that punch, and I think they call it the emotional range or something like that. Yeah, man, the original, it's got very strong macro dynamics. It's a good slam and punch, especially in the bass. It handles volume swings very well. It doesn't compress. Yeah, it handles those without compression. The Pro steps it up with a bit more wider dynamic range. I mean, it's 180 dBs. It's got better micro dynamics. Subtle volume changes are more noticeable, and also low volume listening. I found the Pro a lot more dynamic than the original. Both have excellent slam for planners, but the Pro is just a bit more dynamic for me. it's just a bit more impactful across the board. The last one here regarding technicalities, I wanted to have a look. I don't speak a lot about it in my reviews, but for this unit I especially wanted to delve a bit more deeper into the technicalities and also express a bit more of my technical side, because I always say that I do my reviews for the type of guy that's not that technical and can't read graphs, but I also don't want to make people think I'm stupid and I don't know all the technicalities and stuff to look out for when you do a review. So I think we're gonna end this technicalities one and look at the timbre and the coherence. So timbre is about how realistic instruments and voices sound tonally. The original has got very good planar timbre. It's lush, it's natural, and it's very, very free from that metallic sheen I was talking about. Vocals and acoustics, they feel very lifelike, very warm. The Pro defines this again. The timbre is more accurate, it's more realistic across the whole board. It's a bit more vivid for me. The tonal qualities, the tonal qualities of an instrument. Every instrument has a certain sound which makes it unique from a different instrument. And I have to say, there's just no unnaturalness. It's just a smooth, coherent reproduction of sound you get with these two units. If I look at the coherence, since these are single planar drivers, they both inherently seamless. There's not other drivers, there's not other crossovers and stuff that's in the way from top to bottom. So there's no phase problems. The sound just flows like one wall of sound, like I said earlier. The original one is very coherent, and the Pro feels a bit more refined there. There's better harmony between the frequencies. Like I said, no bleed. There's no everything's blends so effortlessly, and that's what makes a in-ear monitor sound very immersive. If everything just blends, I feel both avoid being incoherent, and you sometimes get that with multi-driver sets, and that's why I love planners, man. Especially if there's just a single planner in there, or even single dynamic drivers. I love that. If I have to conclude my sound observations here, I have to say, if you look at all the various measurement graphs, I don't do graphs, unfortunately. I don't have time for that. If I have to sit and measure IEMs and study the graphs, it's going to be a lot of my time. Maybe if things goes quieter at the workshop, I can attempt that, but not at the moment. So I just rely on a couple of reviewer friends I know, and I have a look at their graphs, and then I can see the overall. Also, if there's a graph out from the company, I will have a look at that. So what stands out immediately, if you look at the graphs, is with the MP145 Pro, is how balanced the tuning is. All the way from 20 kilohertz right up to 40, from 20 hertz right up to 40 kilohertz. There's a mild mid-bass lift that gives it body, but without the muddiness and the bloatedness, like I said. There's also a smooth dip there into the lower mids, and you can clearly see there by 2 and 3 kilohertz, there's a little bit of a natural pinna gain there. It brings the vocals more forward and a bit more realistically. The treble part of the chart, treble has a controlled rise. I see I wrote here good air and sparkle, but no excessive peaks. Because if it had those peaks, you would get fatigue, and these things are as unfatiguing as they come. If you check out the 7 to 9 kilohertz reason, and that also depends on the nozzle you put on, remember, because that will add energy or take energy away there in that part of the graph. Compared to the original MP145, which has got a lot of a U-shape signature, if I can call it that, and it had a bit more warmth, and a noticeable lower treble emphasis if you check the two graphs together. The Pro's graph is closer to neutral, with a subtle V shape, where the other one is U shape. There's cleaner transitions, better left and right matching in most measurements that I saw. The nozzle variations are clearly visible. Red boosts the low end, the silver does boost the highs, and the rose gold is balanced. Distortion for me is ultra low. I think I wrote here smaller than 0.05, and the overall curve confirms what I heard, that there's excellent sub-bass reach, vivid mids, there's extended treble. There's, for me, just no major shortcomings here. Hidizs tuner, when they tuned these two IEMs, they did very well. They tune it to my preferences, and it backs up the listening experiencing so well and perfectly. They're technically excellent, assured in the technical parts. They're musically engaging planners, and they punch just way above their price. These graphs don't lie, guys. I know, and I also advocate that, to not just go on graphs. Please pay attention to what you hear. Check out what different reviewers are saying. Don't just focus on a graph. But still, these graphs don't lie. These graphs tell me exactly what I'm hearing when I listen to these. I hope this helped you guys. It's a bit different that way I normally do things. You guys can actually tell me in the comments if you want me to continue getting a bit more technical when I'm describing the sound, or if you want me to do the older type of sound reviews that I did when I put the song that I listened to and how it sounds on that specific song. You're very free to tell me in the comments. So yeah, that's it for my sound impressions on these two, and now all that's left is my conclusion. Let's hop on over there. This is actually a very tough, one of the toughest conclusions I ever had to do, guys, because I have to tell you both of these in-ear monitors are great. I love them both. If I have to score them, I'm gonna give both of them 4.5. I know there's people that's gonna say no, they don't like the older one because of the fit, and they're gonna complain and tell me it's too warm. You know what, I like that sound, and I think the fit issue is sorted with the new cable you got there. So I'm scoring both of these 4.5 out of 5 stars. Which one should you buy? I think that will be an easy decision for you if you go back into my sound description. You can make up your mind there. For me personally, if you want my personal opinion on these, I'm gonna say get both. I have both, not just because I'm a reviewer, but I can tell you where do these work great for me. The older MP145 is great for electronic dance music because it's a bit more warm. What happens sometimes if you have an IEM that's a bit more harsher in the treble, and you listen to electronic dance music, those high notes, they start hurting your ears, and then the bass is not on level yet, if you can understand it that way. So for electronic dance music, stuff like that, I really prefer the older one. And then for music like classical, heavy metal, especially metal, these 145 Pros is definitely the one to go for. So if you want my opinion, buy both. You won't be afraid, or you won't make a mistake spending $170 on this. For me, it's absolutely worthwhile. I wish I could give them full marks. If the original had an awesome case like this, then maybe, but now I was stuck with this. I can't stop raving about this case. I absolutely love this blue-green type of sea green leather case on the MP145 Pro. It's definitely something to get, guys. Hidizs, you did very, very well on this one. And till next time, guys, thank you for watching.